today to do that. This webinar is, I believe it's our 6th or 7th in the series with Microsoft right now, all focused on today's session about Microsoft 365 Copilot. Start with some really light house rules. Any questions you have, please put them in the Q&A. If one of the non-speakers at the time of the presentation, if they can answer the question there and then, they will do so. If we can't, we'll do that at the end, so we got the 15 minutes allotted for the Q&A. If a reason we can't answer the question today, we will absolutely get back to you. Don't worry, make a list of all the unanswered questions and get back to you personally. So without further ado, let's get into the introductions. So speaking today for the next probably around an hour and 15's worth of content, leaving that 15 minutes at the end. So we're due to finish around 1:30. So my name is James. I'm one of the account managers at Exquitech, really focused on ensuring our customers are getting the most from either the Microsoft technology or the services we provide. And I have my colleague, Matt Essex, who heads up our customer service and support hub. Matt is spending a lot of time with our clients helping and advise on technology, because one of his roles within the customer service hub is not just break fix support, but we're very much focused on enabling our customers to get the most out of their Microsoft licensing and technology. So he spends a lot of time seeing what our customers are up against and helping them use technology to better their processes. So running order today, so we've just done the introduction there. We're going to start the first section around how you can get Copilot. We put that in before we get straight into live demonstration because of popular requests from people before, kind of wanting us to break down how you get access to Copilots. There's a ton of different Copilots. I'll explain what we're focused on today. So we'll spend a little bit of time explaining Copilot, about 5 or 10 minutes maximum, and how you can get Copilot so it's really clear for everyone before we dive into the demonstration. Then we'll move on, as I said, to the Copilot demonstration part. We'll then talk about how we're deploying Microsoft 365 Copilot for our customers in terms of mapping out where to start, where to end, and where you can continuously improve that. We'll touch a little bit about Exquitech, like why are we talking, what we're about, who do we help, and then we'll open the floor to the Q&A and get back to all those questions you have during the presentation. So that's without further ado, let's get into the first part. So how can you get Microsoft Copilot? So first thing to note here is that there's 2 versions of Microsoft 365 Copilot that everyone needs to be familiar with. There are way more Copilots, but today we're just focused on the Microsoft 365 Copilot. The first one, the big release from Microsoft, is that Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, and that's the differentiation here, the name chat at the end. That is now included in all license types, which are Microsoft Business and Microsoft Enterprise. For those who are not quite sure of your license, put it in the Q&A. That's fine. We can get back to you. We can break down what they are exactly. But essentially, Microsoft have released the Copilot Chat function. So the big differentiator between Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat is that it is not a Copilot on your Microsoft 365 application. So we'll show this later on. But with Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, Copilot does not appear in applications like Teams, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint. It's web-based, so it's a great tool for searching the web for ideas, asking for content. You can upload documents and ask it to summarize the documents based on specifically what you want to gain from it. You can image generate from there, but the most important thing is you do not get the Copilot in the applications. So that's really key. But it's open to everyone that has a business or enterprise license. The big plus point here is that Copilot Chat comes with the Microsoft Enterprise Security. So what we're saying there is that anything you put into Copilot Chat is not feeding a larger language model. It's not indexed anywhere else, so no one's going to get the same responses as you if they're using similar prompts into Copilot. So it's secure in that method. But again, key differentiator here is it's not a Copilot in applications, and the Copilot Chat cannot see things like emails, OneDrive files, SharePoint files. So that's a key thing. But again, we'll show this live a bit later on. Then we bridge to Microsoft 365 Copilot. This is now where it's an additional subscription per user per month. That's the pricing model. There is a discounted rate for nonprofits. We'll share that at the end of the call. But this is where you get everything from Copilot Chat in terms of web search, asking for ideas, creative content, image generation. But then the Copilot appears in your applications like Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, Teams. We'll show you that today. But it can also be used to find files, emails, and summarize documents within. And you can find your own documents in SharePoint. You can ask it, when was my last email from this individual, and it can see your Outlook and it will go and find that information for you. So again, we'll showcase this to you during the live presentation. And then accessing Copilot, so really straightforward. Copilot, the free version chat, you can click on that link there and you can go to that window for Copilot straight away and access it. You can also download Copilot from the Windows Store and have that as an application on your desktop. There is no subscription. If you have a qualifying license, a Microsoft Business license or Microsoft Enterprise license, it's there. Go, it's ready to go. You can start using it. With Microsoft 365 Copilot, the variance here is that it requires a subscription. It requires you to license that to the right user within your organization, and it then raises some questions around security and how you're going to use it, because now we're bridging from a free model to a paid model. So we absolutely want to make sure that you're actually maximizing that investment in that license. So we need to do a couple of things, which we'll talk about in our Copilot, how we deploy it for our customers. But more importantly, we need to subscribe to the license, and we need our IT teams or our providers to license the appropriate users before that Copilot license is live, and then Copilot is then embedded into your Microsoft 365 applications. So that's the two steps straight out the way there, and we'll get onto the bit that everyone probably wants to get to today, which is now we're gonna break straight into some live demonstrations of Copilot. At this point, I'll introduce my colleague Matt Essex, and he'll explain now what he's going to be demonstrating for you all.
Perfect. Thank you very much, James. Thank you, everyone. Really excited to be here today and to show you some of the ways that I personally use Copilot. What I'm going to be doing is covering how you can access Copilot in a few specific apps today. I'm going to be covering Outlook, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, and specifically Teams as well, where I personally believe is where most of the value comes from. So I'm going to share my screen with you all just now. Okay, so Copilot, as James mentioned, once you have a paid for license, appears inside the actual applications as well. So I'm going to focus on Microsoft Outlook here first. So what we've got here, James has kindly sent me a whole bunch of emails recently regarding building out a webinar a bit like this one for this demonstration we're doing today. And we can see just here on the left, we've got multiple emails here. And what we could traditionally do is go through that email chain, read each one, catch up on it, and we can get the information we need. And then when we want to reply to that email, we may be just replying to the last existing email, or maybe we want to cover all points in the emails we've missed. Now, what we can do is we can actually use Copilot here to just help us to get along and get information really, really quickly. So in my application here, you'll see in Outlook, I do have a Copilot just here at the top right. And what we want to do, just before we go into what it can do with our emails, I just want to point out some of the options we've got here within Outlook. So we do have a chat, we do have a reply, we have a summarize, schedule, themes, and settings. And I just want to touch on the settings quite quickly, because one of the best things about using AI in our workflows, or using Copilot in particular, is it will eventually learn what we're asking, what type of things we're looking for. But what we can do to help speed this up is we can ask it to We can give it instructions on how we want it to behave within my personal environment here. So we can click here and we can use custom instructions when drafting an email, for example. So for here, I've got something really nice and simple. It just says formal and professional writing style. And maybe always use UK English. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to apply those changes there. So again, custom instructions, we're able to, within that application, give it specific ways that we want it to behave when we're interacting with Copilot as well. Excuse me. So back to the email chain. As we said before, we could go through and have a look at all these, or we can see that we've got a summary by Copilot option here at the top. And we're able to just go in. So I'm going to click on the main email with all of it inside. I'm going to click on summarize there for me. And now it's coming up with that summary. So the next non-profit sector webinar is planned for the 28th of August. It gives me a really nice summary here as well. And if the screen isn't too small here for you all at the moment, it does give us some numbers here that we can click on as well. So again, we're able to click on these. If we click on these, it will actually take us to the relevant email at the time and the place where we're actually looking for it. So again, we clicked on one there. If we click on 3, it'll take us directly to that bit, and number 4 and so on. So it makes this really easy to just quickly gather information on what it is we're trying to deal with at the time, helping speed up our productivity and everything else. And that is just one small tiny bit of Copilot in action here as well. Now what we could do is we could maybe go ahead and we could reply to this email chain as well here. Now in here, it's given us some suggested drafts here. So it's used AI to go in and scan all the information in there. And it's going confirm Steve is hosting, support not needed, or maybe a final agenda review. And we can choose any one of those here as well. Or again, we've got some suggested prompts here as well. Short and friendly message, give update, request information, make an announcement. And we can again go in and customize our drafts here. So at the moment, I think I'm going to go and click on request information. So it's saying politely, request information from recipient about the topic. If I'm happy with that prompt, I can go ahead and do that. And Copilot will, if I weren't in a live environment, it would hopefully work. What we'll do is just go back there. Apologies. We will support not needed. Let's see. Oh, I seem to have an error here. Bear with me 1 second. We do love live demos. Let's see if we've got an issue on here. Bear with us. We won't go too long. Let me just delete that email. I'm just going to reply all here. Just going to see if we can get this working. Thanks, James, for the information. Can I request some further points from you? So I'm going to write in here and I'm just going to go ahead and see. We now have, because I've written the email myself, we do have the ability to press Copilot here as well. And maybe at here, I can put in here, make this more professional. And please, Copilot, work for me. There we go. We're back up and running. And again, and it's put, thank you, James, for the information provided. May I request some additional details from you regarding the presentation content? So it will go in and help us rewrite as well. So again, we have the option for it to write emails for us, or we can go in, write our own emails, which is the method that I prefer, always in my language, and just get Copilot to help me make my writing more professional, fix some mistakes I may have made in there as well. So now, excuse me, we have the option here to replace the entire section, insert it below so we can see the difference. Or we have some options here as well about make it shorter, make it longer, and we can also change our tone here as well. So I'm going to make this actually, instead of direct or formal, I'm actually going to make it casual. Because I know James, work with him every day. So we're going to go in and we'll just see if this comes back with a more casual one. Do seem to be having some issues today. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and replace that section there as well. So again, Copilot just helps speed up or workflows. One of the things that I generally tend to do is stare at the ceiling for a minute, thinking about what I'm going to write, and then put it down. So again, it just helps cut out some of that time at the beginning. One of the other things we can do here is also we can put, "Hi James, thanks for the information. Can I have more info?" So here I've written a fairly terrible reply there. It's not very good at all. So again, we can use Copilot here and we can have a look at some of the options. So we can simplify it, add more detail, clarify purpose or intent, and fix grammar and spelling in here as well. So it's really handy. And again, if we click on this here as well, we can go in and let's do make more creative, make this sound more creative and inspired. One of the things that we'll show you during this webinar today is about the ability to use prompting as a skill in Copilot to get out of it what you want. It is becoming a really good skill to have, and it's about learning the environment, and Copilot will help you along the way with those prompting skills as well. So we'll go in there and we'll reply. So again, we've used Copilot in our email here to do everything, help speed us up this process here as well. One thing I will touch on, we talked about Copilot being in the top right here with all the coaching and things like we got there. Just want to touch on that slightly. With the coaching, what we're asking Copilot to do here is to not actually change what we've written. I just want it to tell me what areas where I could personally improve my writing style. So for the tone, it's now told me it's polite and professional. Great job so far. It's asking me, you might consider adding warm openings such "I hope you are well" to make it feel more personable. Include in the closing line, "Thank you for in advance for your assistance," and using "could you please" instead of "could you kindly" might sound slightly more natural. And again, there's lots in here as well. It'll give me my clarity. And this just doesn't work in Outlook. This works in every single Microsoft application that has Copilot installed in there. So again, maybe you don't want it to do everything for you. You just want it to help your skills get better and aid us. That's really good. I'm a really big fan of that. I am just going to discard this email for a second. One of the things I will show you again in every app, just down the left-hand side, you will see a full Copilot app in here. I'm not going to steal James's thunder today. He's going to come back after me and go all into the biz chat and the prompting abilities that we can do in here, but it's just to make you aware that Copilot, all the different kind of places that exist within our environment. Okay, I am going to just move on, and I'm now going to go into Microsoft Word. So again, we're going to do a small demonstration here today. So what we've got here, I've opened up a blank Word document. One thing I will mention here, and it's a good thing to remember, it trips me up a few times as well, is Copilot works best when your files are saved directly to either OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams, or with the autosave turned on. So just for this demo, I am going to turn this on. I'm just going to call it Webinar Demo, and I'm going to put it into my Exquitech OneDrive, and we're going to turn on autosave here. Perfect. Okay, right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get it to draft me a Word document now using a previous prompt I made earlier. Bear with me. Okay, I'm going to pop in the chat here now, just something I've made previously. So in here, I have got quite a long prompt here, but again, you don't have to make the prompts longer. One thing I will say on here is the better the prompt in, the better the output AI will give you. So again here, we can just create one line, we can create multiple lines of prompts, or we can go in and really kind of drive home what it is we want to get out of this document. So again, create a professional internal webinar brief for the event title, Drive Business Transformation with Copilot for 365. So in this instance here, maybe me and James have had an internal meeting, we've decided what type of webinar we want to do, and now I want to create a professional brief to send out to the wider team, to everybody who may help us here. So I'm just going to click go on there, and you can see see just in the bottom right there, Copilot is reading over my prompt, trying to understand it, and now it's kind of coming in and it's starting to design my Word document for me. And it's giving me an executive summary, event details, key objectives, call to actions in here. And again, all this is in here now. So we could use that. If we were happy, we can go ahead and pop that in our Word document and create it. Again, we can add a specific date. So AI is now looking back to us to say, okay, there is some more information we could add to this document. And again, include more detailed Copilot use cases. Okay, so we're just going to go and see what that will do for us. And again, we don't have to take the first output that Copilot gives us. We can keep going back in, keep asking it. And again, now it's added a full agenda in there for us. This isn't something that I might necessarily do and go, job done, don't need to worry about that anymore. But what we can use it for is a jumping off point in here. Create document based on this. So I'm going to ask it to go ahead and create the document for me. No, it's giving me an error. I am having lots of issues today, so apologies. Bear with me, everyone. Let's go back. Okay, I'm going to create a new document. I'm just going to go in and put my prompts in here. Apologies for that, everyone. So I'm just going to go in and paste that in there. No, bear with me. Copy. I am having technical issues. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on one of the prompts here for now and just get this going so we don't pause the live demo too much. So I did manage to use one of the prompts there. And again, it was a 6-week organizational schedule for a fundraising event here. It's given me one of the prompts because we do these webinars quite often. So it's taken some of the work that we've done previously and it's kind of guessing what it is we might be trying to do here as well. So it's going through here. So again, now I can review everything that it's got. So again, we haven't written the document too much at this point, but what we've got here, we were able to look at it. For now, at this point, we can go ahead and add some more details about it. Add an agenda. So it will now go in and refine it as well. So now it's given me a sample agenda in here as well. And again, once this is finished, we're able to go in and keep tweaking it, like I mentioned before, and keep building out this document to make it as best as we could. There still might be some intervention for us to go in and tweak it a little bit. But again, it's creating a document from scratch. One of the things I will say as well, that it will keep this kind of format. It will kind of look at how we build documents out previously and try and use that format. If you do use templates within your business as well, you can tell Copilot to use those templates as well. So it will keep that same formatting and everything else for you as well. And James will demonstrate that in a little bit for you. So now we've got this detailed draft. We are able to go through, we're able to check it. And we're not stopped at Copilot doing anything else at this point. We can go in and continue tweaking it as well. So we got this full document. Maybe what I would like to add here is, I'm just going to go in, add a summary here about this document. We'll go through. So now it's going in and now it's giving me a nice detailed roadmap for success summary as well in that document. I'm just going to go all the way down to the end and I'm going to go here, create a conclusion section here about this doc. Let's see what I can do for us here as well. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. A well-orchestrated fundraising event is not merely a means to an end, it is a celebration of purpose, community, and so forth. So at this point now, we're going to move on from Microsoft Word. But as we said, we do in here, as always, we have the Copilot application here that you've seen me use today. we have been able to go in and use the Copilot to generate a document from scratch. One of the other abilities we have here as well is you can reference other files as well. So if you were to go in the Copilot chat, again, we've got lots of prompts here, and you can put look at file and then put a little file, and then you can add a file there as well, or you can click the little add button there as well, and we can have a look at all the prompts that are available for us. So we do have a full prompt gallery here as well, and this is really helpful as you get started with Copilot, because some of the times it's you don't know what it can do. So the prompt library helps us understand kind of what Copilot is expecting from us to get the most out of it as well. I'm not going to go into that too much. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this doc5 demo. I'm just going to pop this in here as well. I'm just going to save this. Okay, what I am going to do now here, because this is now saved to OneDrive, what I actually want to do at this point is from this document, I now want help creating a PowerPoint slide with it. So I've now copied that link. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and create a PowerPoint slides from here. Okay, create a new PowerPoint presentation. Let's from this file. I need to just upload it to SharePoint. Bear with me. Let me just copy. I'm just going to save this 1 second. Let's go in here. Let's go into other. Let's go ahead. Right. Okay. We are ready. Create a presentation about an upcoming webinar about making Copilot a success for charities. Use graphics to help show the information. Let's see what we can do there. Let's go. Let's see what it can do for us. So it's going to go ahead. The template, the prompting that I used there was fairly basic. It didn't give it a lot of information, to be fair. But what again, it's kind of learned about all the other stuff that we do. So it's tried to fill in some of the gaps for us. So now it's given us what it thinks this should be called. It's introducing to Copilot. It's given us some slides here. And it's given an estimated number of slides, 16. It could have generated up to 40, but let's go ahead and generate those slides for us, and we'll see what kind of, what it looks like as well. So we'll go ahead and see. It just takes a second. Always seems to take a little longer when you're having to watch it, but generally it's pretty fast. Again, the time it would have taken me to have created all this from scratch versus giving myself a jumping off point to be able to go in and start editing this. So I'm going to go and look at my slides now. So again, it's taken my prompt, it's come in, it's given me a title card, it's given me some images here, and again, it's given us an agenda and all my different slides here with some talking points. And if you notice here at the bottom, it's actually given us presenter notes as well. And again, I'm not saying this would be within minutes you can create an entire PowerPoint presentation. You don't need to come back and look at it. What it does is gives us that jumping off point to get something going, getting the team working in here, and we can go in and edit the slides and everything else. So as I said, it's really about the better your prompt in, the better the output as well. But you can see the kind of the information it can spit out with you with even a very small prompt as well. If we just go in and create another new presentation as well, we're going to go in here. Okay, we'll create this presentation again, And again, we can use a reference file here. So if you create a reference file here, we can go ahead and we're able to click on something like this, create a presentation. So I've already got a written document here in Word, saved to SharePoint. We can go ahead. So now we're giving it a really, really rich, strong information to work on. So again, it will come through now. You'll start looking at that document and it will build out the slides. So again, professional documents already created. We're now creating our jumping off point for our PowerPoint presentations to talk about that particular document as well. And again, we're having some issues here today. I think it's actually the heat and the laptops aren't coping with it. I think we're currently at 37 degrees where I am at the moment. So I do apologize today. Let's just see if we can get it going one more time. Oh, I have just noticed while we're looking at that, what is SharePoint? We will answer that question for you at the back end, but just while we're going through this platform, SharePoint is Microsoft's storage solution in the cloud where all your business documents live. OneDrive, Teams, SharePoint, they're all linked together and they go back, but we will answer that question for you in more detail towards the end. Okay, one of my favorite platforms here in Microsoft Teams. It's our window into everything. It's where I personally start my day and end my day. And it's my window, my link into all the different aspects of what I do here at Exquitech as well. And again, Copilot is fully embedded and it's embedded in so many different ways in Teams. Sometimes it's hard to know actually where it exists. So I'm going to give you some examples. And the first thing that I really want to do is I'm going to talk about how it actually works for us. I'm just going to increase my screen size here for you today to make this a bit easier. Let's go to 140. So in here, I don't know about anybody else, but I certainly believe my capabilities in writing fast and accurate far outweigh my actual real ability.
Right, apologies everyone for that. That's the beauty of a live demonstration for you. So what I'm going to take on now whilst we wait for Matt to come back is I probably want to touch on the Microsoft 365 Copilot. Biz chat is the term they use for it. So if we take it back to the part we're speaking about right at the start of the presentation, to access this part of Copilot, you can see I've got an application installed there. So you can download it very straightforward from the Windows Store, which is here. And then based on your license, so again, if you're using the free version, which is Copilot Chat, the key differentiator here is that you won't see the toggle, which is the work and web. And when we're using the work and web with full license, I've got the full Microsoft 365 Copilot, that's telling me where my data is looking. So on the work mode, that's enabling me to look at files on SharePoint, emails. So I can very much look at that whilst also doing some web search. If I go pure web, then it's not able to see, it's not looking at internal references we have. So that's the key thing here, how to access it, download the application or go to the web link that I put on the presentation. Again, we'll share that at the end. So it's super simple to access. So what I wanted to do really today was just to go through some use cases that I use for Copilot, some very straightforward everyday ones that really just helps me, realistically save about 5 to 10 minutes of time. So when we're looking at Copilot, you walk into Copilot, it's not a tool that is going to just automate everything for you in a second. It's not just install it and let it work. Where we're seeing huge gains around Copilot is the ability to save time, whether that's getting meeting notes into actionable documents, actionable emails, whether that's finding content that when was the last time John sent me a document about XYZ? It's the ability to go into this biz chat window, which is a central point, and use it as a central location to look for your data, ask it to summarize meetings, ask it to put the content in the form that you require. And it's got some really useful agents in there now, which Microsoft have released, which we've seen some great use cases again with our customers. So I'm literally going to walk you through how I'm using BizChat and how our customers are. So you can all see this window here. This is the entry point. So just to get the navigation for you. So here is the chat function. So this is the ability where you can then talk to Copilot, ask it some questions. We'll run through that in a minute. On the left-hand side here, you see agents. So we don't want to confuse matters too much today, but you get Microsoft-made agents where they have specific use cases. We'll talk about these ones in a moment. I'll demonstrate the prompt coach, but you can also build your own bespoke agent. So number one use case right now is the ability for an organization to create a custom agent that answers questions about their organization instantly. So a classic example is for people in the field that are not working office hours, if they've got a question about policy, about HR, about process, you can build an agent that answers those questions for them based on the data you have in your system. You can then easily go into the agent, you can ask the question of the agent, it will get the information for you and it bring it back to the end user. So we're seeing a huge use case for that rather than the traditional method of having to email someone, having to phone someone, having to wait a while to get the answers. You can go here, you can build your own custom agents that can start answering questions very quickly. And then you can layer on top of that an agent that then starts taking care of processes so it can start automating. So for example, you might get an email into your referral inbox. That Copilot agent can see the email coming in and it can then distribute it to the right people, i.e. through a Teams channel. It can go to another a mail, it can go and upload it into a CSV file, Excel, it can then upload it into some advanced use cases into a CRM and then set some actions. So that's where the agents, there's the agents that answer questions based on the data you tell it to answer, and where the knowledge it's gaining from, and then agents that can start automating process. That's a whole different world of Copilot. Happy to answer questions at the end, and we'll do a more in-depth session around that. But today, let's focus on BizChat, Microsoft 365 Copilot. So the thing here to note is that when I'm in the work mode, this essentially is telling Copilot it can see everything that I have permission to within my 365. So it sticks by the permissions I've been given by our IT team. It does not deviate, it does not make its own permissions up. If you're given permission to access files, folders, email shared mailboxes, it only stays within that realm. So that's really important to note. So the work mode, it now enables me to see information. So one of the things here that I use quite a lot is we as a company, we share a lot of presentations, we share a lot of documentation for proposals, for new product releases, new service releases, and it's sometimes quite difficult to try and find that whether it's maybe SharePoint in a library, in email, and here I can go and I can be fairly specific in my ask. So I can go, well, I know that Ray is our Copilot trainer. He's our champion within the organization, and he releases all the documentation around it. So what I can do here is I can find me the latest Copilot presentation from, and this is the most important thing. When you see I use the /, that's when it starts giving me the ability to search for people. It can look for files if I know the name, meetings, emails. So you can see here it really understands, so it can look at the data I've got within it. So in this instance, I'm going to ask the people, and I'm going to find Ray, who's our Copilot champion. And I can be way more specific in this prompt, by the way. I can say, find me the latest Copilot presentation that was edited most recently. So I can be way more specific in my ask. The more specific you are, the better. So you can see here now Copilot's going away. It's going to look for that data, and it's going to start giving me some suggestions in a moment. So it said the latest one that's modified here is on the 28th of July, which is fantastic. I can click on that, I can open it, and it's there, it's ready to go. I can ask it to summarize the key points from in that as well. I can ask it for, is there any other presentations from Ray about Copilot? So I just want to get you a flavor there of how you can use this Windows. You don't have to go into SharePoint, OneDrive, email, Teams. If you kind of know what you're asking for, you can be quite specific in the ask of Copilot. So if we look at a recent meeting we had, so I want to summarize a meeting. So if I go here and I ask, if we find the meeting, me just. So I'm asking it to summarize a Copilot run-through meeting. And what I want it to do, rather than just summarize, I'm going to ask it to list the overview, actions, and the owners assigned. So Copilot is going to go look at that meeting. Now, the really key point here is you need to at least transcribe the meeting in Microsoft Teams. And as you can see now, without having to go to the meeting, we're having to go to recap, I could easily just summarize the meeting, get it into the table I need it to go into. And you can see here, I've got a whole list of actions. This is a fictitious meeting, by the way, so there's nothing here to worry about that I can't share. You can see here, it's actually got a request to schedule a meeting for the 27th of August. So I can use Copilot to action that task. So I'll share that in a minute. But the point here is when you're asking for a summary is very vague. So you need to be a little bit more specific. So ask it what you want it to be in. If you want it to be in a table, it will put it in a table for you. So be specific in your prompts. And we'll use the prompt coach in a minute to really show you how to build your own prompt library up, and it really coaches you through that. So for here, for example, we have a scheduled meeting in August. So let's say, remind me to schedule a meeting with, let's go to people and let's type in Matthew for 1 hour on 27th of August. We're going to see Copilot do that work for us now. Okay, great. So you see the memory's updated. So it's now going to send me a reminder in there. But that's the example of setting a reminder for yourself. But actually, let's ask it, schedule a meeting with for 1 hour, 27th of August. Now it's going to go away. It's going to start building that out for me. Perfect. So here you go. So now it's, when I click on that button there, it's going to open automatically the calendar view in Outlook, and I will see the scheduling assistant, and I could just book that meeting. What I could have done here as well is, then this is the art being a bit more specific, because I could say, well, actually, I do need an agenda, Copilot. So I can then say, well, build me an agenda based on the meeting actions here, and it can go do that. So yes, please create me an agenda. So we can do that again, all without leaving the biz chat. I've just had to click a button. It's already opened that calendar view for me. And now it's taken across the meeting objectives. It's understood that it's about the Copilot webinar planning meeting we had yesterday. And it's told me that I need to, the actions I have, so finalize and send to marketing for approval. It's told me the agenda we need to run through. And again, if your content on the meetings and your recording thing is more accurate about actions, tasks, owners, you're being more specific, the more specific the data is in Copilot. So this is just an example of where I'm not even leaving BizChat. I'm just going in here. I'm asking it to schedule meetings, summarize things, put it in the format I want, and go from there. And that's the same even if you're using the free version of Copilot, where you can't see the document, or you can't see that, you can't easily reference the meeting. If you have a transcript, you can go into Copilot, you can say, hi, this is a transcript. Please, can you put this into X format? So be specific with your format. I need an overview. I want a table of the actions and owners, and it will start putting that data all in that format for you. And if you ask it, can you make this copy and pastable into a Word document? It will put it in a Word format for you. You can copy it and you can put it straight into Word. So even if you don't have the paid for version here, you can still use this function and start putting your data in the order you need. So the thing here we spoke about are the marketing strategy review. So if we weren't lucky enough to have a really good marketing team at Exquitech, this is where Copilot's great as well. So I can now switch and go, well, yeah, look, I need some ideas. So need some ideas for marketing a Copilot webinar to the non-profit sector. Can you suggest some, put them into a table so I can share with the wider team? So here again, I'm not leaving the Copilot now. I'm literally working this window. I'm just going to use the data. We've had the meeting. I'm now just going to go through and ask it. So here you can see it's now referencing some of the points here. So Microsoft Outreach, leverage, yeah, we can do that. Absolutely. We can definitely do some of our social channels for awareness. We can well, I can, and again, here, if it's being quite vague, it's like, well, give me some ideas. Give me some ideas. So I can do that. So again, use Copilot for some ideas. It's not always going to be exactly the way you go, but the hardest thing we find for customers is sometimes in the afternoon, like Friday afternoon, it's quite difficult to think of ideas, and Copilot just starts giving you those right out the gate. So I really wanted to highlight there to just how you can use this window. You can look at all your documents, you can and not leave it, and get the data into the right format, summarize, find information. If you need to find a specific email from a person, and when you're doing the find me an email, it doesn't have to be an internal colleague. You can actually ask it for an external recipient. So you can put their full name, and if you want to be more specific, ask the topic, and it will look for your Outlook for you, and it will go find that recent email. Once you've got the information, you can ask it to summarize the email in this biz chat format. You can then ask it to convert it into a document or into a message or into an email reply back. So you can really live within this window and start driving all these the formats, the ideas, and helping you find useful data. So that's the Copilot biz chat area, and it's often heavily overlooked in terms of formatting your data, finding data, getting ideas. So that's the Copilot biz chat here. When we talk about agents, and there's a really good use case here for the researcher we had recently of a customer, and they used to have to pay for independent research on a topic. And what the Copilot researcher is designed to do is help you gather and summarize information quickly, and instead of trawling through documents, web pages, internal reports, you can kind of ask it like in the natural questions like, well, hey, show me the latest trends around this topic and how I might boost X, Y, Z. And if I show you here what the researcher does, it's more of a deep thinking process. So it takes a longer for this agent to go through and get the latest information. But if I go through here and we look at, so you can see here it's got some default tabs here. But if I go through and I go, well, hey, look, can you give me insight on donations to non-profits in the south of England in terms of donations given and if it's declining. So you can be very specific in the researcher, or if you are research on a specific topic, if for your service users, if you want to research on a topic that you're up against or you're looking to extend services into, the researcher is a great place to start, because it's not just going to the web fast and bring information. It's long thought out process. It gives you a fantastic document. So here, it really wants to understand exactly what you're looking for. So here you can ask it very specific information about the reports you want, formats you want, and then the researcher will go ahead and it will collate all the information from the web. And again, you can be very specific of where you want this to go to. So if you only want it to go to verified resources and only certain websites, you can ask the agent to do that, and it will only gather information from those websites. You can also ask it to, where you found information, always reference me where you found that information from. So it's a very good tool here, and we've seen a great use case recently, again, with someone who used to have to pay for independent research. They started using the researcher app, and it's given them some fantastic results when compared like for what they were paying for. So the researcher is a great application, long format. And what I'll do at the end of the webinar is I can't do it justice here, but I'll actually export a report that research has done for me, and I'll share it to everyone on the call, so you can see the type of content and the detail this tool goes into. If we look at the prompting coach here, the art of AI, where any application, whether it's ChatGPT, Copilot, DeepSeek, anything, is all around the prompt. The prompt is the most important thing. So here I'm going to demonstrate how you can use the prompt coach to sharpen what you're asking for to get the result you need. So let's take an example here that I prepared earlier. So let me just grab this prompt. So what I want to do actually is I've recently had a few events and people have subscribed on our landing page. And what I want to do is I want to compare the spreadsheets across all these webinars, this data I've collected, and I want to see if people are joining our events multiple times, so I can maybe have a more targeted campaign, make contact with them, whatever I need to do. And this can apply to anything. If you've got donations coming in from locations or whatever you can think of with data, you can ask Copilot to go compare this. So I need a prompt so I can just do this time and time again. So every time I have an event, I can look back at previous documents and I can see who's attended our webinar the most. And I can put them into a nurture state, or I can start doing bespoke RSVPs with them, whatever I need to do. But my prompt's a bit vague. So I'm just going to run through the prompt coach. I'll show you how this helps you sharpen your prompt. So what it flags down to is the goal, the context, and the source, and the expectations. Now, it's saying I've got a goal for this prompt, which is great. So now it's asking me to provide the context. So context of data, emails, names. Yep, all in a specific comment, all in same column. Small spreadsheets. Do you have specific spreadsheet load in workspace? Yep, data is in SharePoint. You mentioned once of it. Contain additional rows. So it's asking me here, you mentioned how you want it, how do you want the CSV presented back to you? Because I really didn't set my expectations. So I want the data in a certain way. So yeah, I'm going to want all the rows that it's found. So contain additional data from the rows where emails were matched. In the prompt back, in the response back, just tell me how many matches do not show personal data and provide me with a spreadsheet. So I'll show you how this prompt, you can then add it to a library. So then once you've built the prompt and you get the desired results, you don't have to think of the prompt every time. I'll show you the prompt library in a second. You can save all your favorite prompts there. So at a click of a button, all the prompts you built up that you know give you the result you require, rather than thinking about how to prompt to ask Copilot, it's all in a library for you. Click the button and go. So would you like to help with follow-up prompt? No, just give me the final. Okay, so let's go. Perfect, compared to spreadsheets. Okay, so I can take that. Here, I could save it in my prompt library, but let's test the result out. So go to chat. Now I'm gonna paste that in to SharePoint. So now I need to, if you remember from our previous demonstration, I need to point it to the spreadsheets, right? So I need to now go find these files. So if we find the files, if I go to my demo data, go into my OneDrive quickly, bear me a second while I do that. There's my first spreadsheet. And I'm just now going to ask it for the other spreadsheet. Again, you can easily go into your own personal data here. I'm going to go on the 29th of July. I'm going to build that out. So now let's see if the prompt has helped me. So now Copilot is going through that prompt. And if I'm getting the desired result, then I'll show you how you put in the library to save yourself so much time. You build up this library of prompts that get you the desired result you need each time. here when it's analysed, if you drop in here, you can see what the Copilot's doing. Okay, there you go. So there, it's now created. I'll get rid of the analysis section. There are 12 unique email addresses that appear in both these spreadsheets. And when I've done this before, actually, for our last event, I actually compared a year's worth of data in our Dynamics tool. So I pull it in to look at our CRM. But again, you can build up multiple spreadsheets for this if you're just containing data. It's told me there's 12 unique email addresses, and that means they both appeared on our webinar for those dates. So I can start doing bespoke messaging, bespoke RSVPs. I can make contact for them. I can nurture them. I can be a bit more bespoke in my messaging. Like, hey, notice you've attended 2 whole webinars on this subject. Is there anything else I can help you with? Here's some relatable content. If you put it into your own business, like, hey, I've noticed you've donated twice in this location. Please see attached our new event coming up in this area. Would love you to support and come along. So what I really want to showcase here is, if we all talk about the art of the prompt is how AI is used. Well, this is where Microsoft have built the prompt coach. You can go in there and you can ask kind of what you're looking for, and it step by step just takes you down that path, and you can build your prompt and you're good to go. It's got my downloaded CSV. I can open that and it's got my data within. If you're happy with that, that's when you can go here. You can save your prompt. So you can click save, and then you can title it. So I could call that marketing. I could call it whatever I want to. Just call it marketing for the purpose of this. There's your prompt. Saved it. Great. That's in my library. I never have to think about explaining to Copilot ever again what I want the result to be, what I want it to do. I've got my prompt saved. It's in my library. And down here, if I go to my prompts, that page there, you would then be able to manage all your prompts and see them. So I can then simply click on my prompts. You can see here the 4 I've got set up. I can click straight on the prompt and get to the point and literally just put the / in here for the meeting I wanted to discuss, put it in, done. So again, just to recap there, that prompt is the most key thing to getting the data you want out of Copilot, any AI tool. Using the prompt coach, it helps you build the prompt to the way Copilot is designed to work for you, and it gets you the desired result every time. We see so many circumstances where people just put a prompt in the chat. It doesn't work as they want it and they give up. Use the prompt coach, explain what you want to do. It will then use the Copilot system to work you through the goals, your objectives. And as you can see there, I built this prompt up pretty quickly. And now that's stored forever. If I ever want to use that again for my next event, just go in my library, click the prompt, done, point it in the direction. And don't forget, this could be, I could have connected this to a CRM system or point it to the files, and then the information is just there for you. So this is what I wanted to speak a little bit about BizChat today, how that can be just a window for a window pretty much for everything you do within 365. You don't have to leave this tool at times to find what you're looking for. And again, it's a heavily underutilized tool. People are just using the applications. BizChat is a great place to go. And even those on the free version, use BizChat, image generation, compare documents. So if you want to do that here, for example, like compare a file. So let's do that. Shall we compare HR? This is a fictitious HR policy and HR policy 2. The amount of times you speak to HR or people in governance positions where they get heavy documentation, there's a change to policy, it's a 40-page document, they've then got to figure out what's changed or what's different. You can go in here to Copilot and you can just put these 2 documents in and go, well, compare, let's do the differences and put them into a table for me. And we've seen examples where people are looking for very detailed information around it. So font changes, color changes, all sorts of in Copilot. I've used the prompt coach to build up what they're looking for in these documents, because for marketing sometimes it's the change between your 2 documents in terms of making sure the coloring palette is right, the branding's on point. You can ask the prompt coach and give all the details about the colors you use and branding. And then when we go to prompt coach for big heavy governance documentation, HR policy, again, you can use the prompt coach. I'm a HR professional. Every month we get new releases on different policy changes. I need to adapt it to our policy. This is time consuming, so I need to adjust where it is and understand it. You can go into Copilot. You need to find out the difference between your policy and the new policy, how that impacts the business, and it can start giving you those suggestions in Copilot. So here you can see it's given me a comparison to sections, download the table here. Great, I can click and download that. Let me see if I just open that for you, and I'll showcase that in a second. Just going to put this in the chat for everyone so you can see it. So what, if I just bear me 2 seconds, I'm just going to put this right in the screen for everyone to be able to see. You can zoom in on that. So in the chat for everyone there, because Copilot has previously learned the way I like this done, it's actually built me a very detailed spreadsheet, and it's picked up changes in paragraphs and every single variance between HR policy and HR policy 2. When you do this for the first time using the prompt coach, again, you can be very specific in how you want the outcome to be, as I took you through a minute ago. So I just wanted to highlight it's a very underutilized tool, the prompt coach, really underutilized, and the researcher as well. But what I'll do at the end of the presentation is I'll share you a full report that the researcher completed for me, and you can see the outcome. But if you are using this subscription already on the Microsoft 365 Copilot, I definitely urge you to go back and look at these applications, see what you can get from them. So that comes to an end on the demonstration bit. I'll get back to the Q&A. I'll answer all of them at the end. And I'm literally now just going to spend a couple of minutes based on how we're deploying Copilot for our customers. I think that's really critical. So the most difficult thing, and I hear it all the time, especially in the non-profit sector, it's a really tough decision when you see that your business premium license that consumes so much within a business premium license, for example, in terms of security, it's £4 per user per month. With Copilot, we then jump to £20 per user per month. It's on an annual commitment, so you're in for the full 12 months. And it's really difficult when you see the price, you compare the price, and the economy as it is at the moment, it's very difficult. And we really appreciate it's hard to justify. One of the things we work with our customers on our Copilot journey is before any investment is made, like before you think about buying a license and trying it, which has limited, if you think about you buy a license, you now got to trial it. If you don't know what you're trying and what the expectation is, then it's really difficult. So before we do that, we offer the Copilot workshop. You speak to one of the guys that deploy it. You're going to see everything that you see today, and this is why we do it live. It's silly to pretend that every application in the world is 100% perfect in each and every case. It's about using it and get what you need from it and understanding what you're going to get for the tool. First thing we do is we do the workshop with you. We sit a little bit, we get some key people in the organization with the departments, we understand a little bit about their world, and we then show you what Copilot is good for, what we see results back on, and we show you the products in a little bit more of a deep dive. So if you want to go into Excel and analyze data, we do that. And the second workshop as well, what we're also doing is then from the first workshop, we've understood about your processes. We might have asked for some sample data from you. We then go on the second workshop, and then we show you how we're using Copilot to work in your data set or your processing. So that's really key, the workshop. Before you even think about investing in licenses, speak to someone that's using it, go through it, see if there's actually a need for it. Because we see all the time, not everyone needs a paid for license. We can get a lot of the free version. Once we're clear on the workshop, we think there's a potential, okay, this sounds like it might help us. We help you identify the stakeholders. 9 times out of 10, you really want people that are heads of departments and the people doing the operational tasks that in the day, the nitty gritty, they're by the laptop every day. they're producing documentation, and they're finding that information. They're really working on the laptop. They're not potentially in meetings for 6-7 hours a day like some of the C-suite are. So we help you identify the stakeholders that traditionally get us the most return from Copilot. We help you with the seat assignment, so provide license if we need to, assign them, etc. But what we're also doing here is we're taking care of some of the basic security requirements as well you need to go through. We don't want to hit too heavy on security today. We have a blueprint to make sure that your data is safe and you're not leaking data or putting data into AI that you really don't want to be put in there. And we're obviously putting some security controls in there, measuring it against compliance standards, regulatory standards. So we've got a whole roadmap for that for you as well. This is the really useful thing we document, is a full-on business use case and prompt. We call it the prompter font, but this is where we've taken your first initial trial users that have got the licenses, and we've agreed with the HR that, wow, we've got 7 or 8 business users for Copilot. We document what it's for, what the outcome is, why you do it, what it saves, and we document the prompts and we save them in your library for you. So when you do think about enrolling other people into Copilot, there's a method to use it already. So they know exactly what they're using it for, what they're getting the most from it. So that's a really useful piece there. We actually build your library for you. We then work further to identify the champions in the organization, will continuously improve the service, help you, sort of gain a culture of continuously trying to improve rather than stagnating on the tool. We get feedback collection at the end, so we get real feedback from the people using Copilot, and we present that back as a nice presentation to the board. So, this is what we've been doing. This is what we're using it for. These are the results we're seeing. This is what they're telling us, and most importantly, this is what we're seeing from the system. So we can see within 365 how much people are using Copilot and what they're using it for. So we can present that back. Ongoing training is optional. Sometimes you do that. Sometimes organizations have adopted the champions and move forward with it. But ongoing training, call us and releases, we can talk you through that. And then we start thinking about agents. So normally agents will come out high-level ideas on these workshops at this point over here. And then we start introducing some agent concepts. Again, that's about these agents that can answer information quickly for employees about HR policies, process, where things are. We've got some HR use cases around onboarding agents. So you can ask the agent, what's my first week of training? It plugs into your system. It tells your user where they're going, what their agenda is, what they need to complete by end of week. So we can build some agents, but the ideas and use cases come out of these workshops. So we start embedding that into the organization, seeing the use case there. And then really it's all about giving you enough information to sustain. So we don't want that, it's a decent investment, £20 a month per user. We don't want it just to fall by the wayside. So we give you some information about how to sustain that. So that's our roadmap that we've worked on for the last 12-18 months and taking clients through that, and we've got them. But here, if I can't stress enough, it's like, start with the workshop, speak to someone who uses the tool, who sees the flaws, who sees the benefit, has the fortunate view of like understanding how other people are using it. They've seen it multiple times before you think about buying some licenses that have to stay there for a year, and you haven't really got a way of getting them embedded in the organization. About Exquitech, very quick on this point, we get straight to Q&A. Us as an organization, 200,000 seats, that's Microsoft subscriptions we own across or provide our customers. Around 2,000 customers across our portfolio. And I think the key thing here, some of our clients you work with in the non-profit sector, and then really when you're speaking to organizations about Microsoft technology, you're figuring out, how can I better use my investment in a license, or how can I start using technology we spoke about today? You really want to be looking for partners that have this advanced specialization. There's a lot of partners in the UK that have them. We're one of them. And you really want to be ensuring that they have the relevant specializations on what you're talking about. So if it's security, it's here. If it's data and AI, it's here. What advanced specializations mean compared to standard solution partners up here is we are audited over a 6-month period by Microsoft, and we have to prove revenue. We have to get customers to give them use cases and provide them surveys direct to Microsoft without our involvement. And we have to meet criteria in terms of how many consultants in our organization are qualified to be able to talk about the product. So when you're looking to talk to technology partners in Microsoft, it's always worth referencing the advanced specialization. And if you look at the Copilot Jumpstart partner here, another key part, that's all about access to Microsoft's tools, to funding, programs that some partners, because they don't qualify, don't have access to. So again, a little known fact to Microsoft, there's a lot of Microsoft partners in the UK, but this is how you can start to think about differentiating them if you're in that segment to review them. So that's enough about Exquitech. Let me just unshare my screen. I'm just going to now go through the Q&A. I appreciate there's only one of me today. My colleague's dropped off.
No,
so
I'm here, James.
you're here? Brilliant, Matt. Thank you very much.
I am back.
You're back. You're back. Brilliant. Okay, great. So should we go? Let's go through the Q&A. If we sort it by recent activity, most I like the way it does that. Unanswered questions. Okay, so I love the way the Q&A, it should always go from the oldest to newest, but it always only allows you to sort it by the newest activity, which is frustrating. So let's go through the Q&A section, Matt. Shall we pick out and let's see what we can ask. So first one.
Go on, James.
No, so if we talk about the first one I can see here is a good question. How Copilot deals with PII data and GDPR compliance. Once the company's data is assessed by Copilot, how is it treated with Microsoft HR? That's a very good question, and it can elicit from the right person if our data compliance and Copilot team was a very, very long response. What we'll do is that question probably holds a lot of information back to you, and probably some specific questions around, well, what are your concerns around PII data? How is it match your GDPR compliance? That's fine. How is this treating Microsoft HR? There's a lot to impact on it. What we'll do is we're going to send you an email, because that's probably me talking for about 5 or 10 minutes on the topic to go through, because there's like 4 questions there. So I'm just going to put that as a flag. 100% get back to you after the call, and we'll just break down those points for you. No problem. Second question from Rebecca Sullivan: is there a way for Copilot to work with Google Drive? Matt, we've had this question a few times. Just summarize that for us.
One of the big things here is if you use Google Drive, there is nothing stopping you downloading files from Google Drive and then uploading them to Copilot to be referenced. Generally, the bigger question here is about having control over your environment's data and where that's going and where it's going from. So does it work as well it does with the integrations, SharePoint, Teams, OneDrive, all that? No, you can't just use the little search this file and do that, but you are able to use it in the sense where you can pull documents from there and import them into Copilot for sure. What it won't do for you is put those files back and upload to Google Drive for you. Okay, hopefully that answers that.
Okay, so there where we're talking about the biz chats, to simplify that a little bit, is when I've done the / trying to find my document, it wouldn't obviously see because it can only see the data in 365. So you're going to have to manually upload the document into Copilot, and of course, from that point of view, you can ask it, summarize specific point and tell me why, however specific you want to be in a prompt. We always tell people stay away from summarizing the document because it's very generic. When you want to summarize a document, think of it from your perspective, like what do you actually want to get from the document, what do you need to see?
The next one, James, I just want to touch on because I did disappear from the webinar. So has the screen share frozen for everyone or just me? Unfortunately, everybody, currently where I'm located, we're going through a very, very hot heat wave, and I had to turn off my fans in my office so it didn't blow into the mic. And my laptop died halfway through. So I do apologize on that. It isn't a Copilot issue. It was definitely a me issue. So apologies on that.
Okay. So next one here is there's a lot of you've answers from that. I might want to talk about it. There's a lot of repetition, generic words in a sentence, e.g. fundraising. To what extent can that copy be simplified, adjusted? Okay, fine. Yeah, that's a good point. When I went through the prompt library there, that's what we help clients with, or if you work with partners, look at the prompt library and start using the agent that helps you build your prompt. So we spoke about the goal, it takes you through everything, so you get the desired result from your prompt. Once you're happy with that, then save it in the prompt library. So you just don't have to remember what you said each time. You can literally go to your prompt library, copy it in, and then point it at the location, like adjust a file, etc. What we didn't show in the Word section of Copilot as well, which we do a lot here, is when I'm building, so a classic example is if I'm building a statement of works, which is a very detailed document in Word, what I can do is I can ask the Word document to reference a template, a structure, and I can also then go and ask Copilot to reference the presentation or the proposal document that I presented to the client. So when you're in Copilot and you open up Word, you don't just have to say to Copilot, oh, create me something like this. You can go, Copilot, hey, / reference this document template and reference this document proposal. Can you now build me the statement of works? And it can start referencing, seeing the documents and bringing that into life as well. So that's a tip for Word to be used. Can the prompts, so one for Kaylee here, can the prompts within apps be asked to adhere to existing brands? Yes, Matt, they can. It's a bit more complicated with the PowerPoint way to set your master templates up, but it can be done. In Word, it can also be done as well. We've seen varied results of clients. So some of our customers, when they actually ask for templates and guidelines, is what they've started to do is what they're actually asking for is automation. So what they're saying is when we get an email or a referral, we want that to automatically create the Word document and save it in our SharePoint in our template. So Copilot can start doing that part. But for the simpler stuff, you can start saying, hey, Copilot, in Word, build me this proposal template, reference file / my master template, and it can start using the same content for you. In PowerPoint, it's slightly more complicated. Katie, we will send you a link on how to do that. If you need any help, let us know. One from Steve Parker here. I've heard that starting to use Copilot triggers a change in license structure to annual commit. Is this true? Does it apply? No. So when you procure Copilot, and when they originally released it, they only released it on an annual. What that means is it's an annual commit. You're contracted for 12 months, but you have to pay for the full 12 months up front. They've now released Copilot annual monthly, which is an annual contract for 12 months, but you pay for it monthly. I've never seen it alter or trigger a change in license structure at all. I say we deal with over 200,000 licenses. We've never seen that. Certainly not what we witnessed. But maybe the question there was just the way it's contracted. So Rebecca Sullivan, what is SharePoint? SharePoint is a file depository. It can be your intranet site where you welcome new joiners, about news about the company. It could be a hub site for HR where all your HR policies are. SharePoint is a huge tool. It's vast. It can help you track ISO documentation in terms of, is it expired? Does it need approval? It's a vast tool, but it is like raw format. It came out as a file depository in the cloud. So Steve has said, is there a means of proactively training Copilot with writing style? Matt, there is a way of training. Do you want to quickly share your screen? You've got 1 minute on this, so just share your screen quickly and show Steve and the team where you can actually train Copilot a little bit more to your use case.
Yeah, sure.
And don't overheat your Mac.
Thank you, everyone. So, yes. So one of the things I will mention, and we're going to keep this really brief, is we have to sanitize our Copilot environment while we're doing these webinars to train it not to do anything that we normally work on. Copilot as an AI very, very quickly learns your writing style, your kind of document templates, and everything else as well. So within your Copilot app, you're able to go in and configure those settings a little bit earlier on.
Matt, the customer, just go a bit slower on that point.
Sorry. So when Copilot...
Sorry, slower, not in speech, slower in how you got to the settings. You were very quick.
Do apologize, everyone. So I'm using the Copilot app in Teams here, but it's the same whether it's online or in your other apps in here. So in your Copilot app, if you just go up and like Microsoft likes everything in the three little dots here, if we click that there and just scroll down into settings here, this is kind of what I would say where all the magic happens and the custom instructions. And again, it will just give you something here. Feel free to include any details about interests, preferences, goals. And in here, this is where you can say, always use this writing style, always be professional, always be very highly detailed. And you put your prompts in there, and that is the setting that Copilot will always use by default before applying anything over the top, okay? And you can see here today, we've removed any instructions in there for this webinar. Hopefully that helps. All right, James?
Thank you very much. I had to slow down based on previous comments about how quick you navigate through Teams.
No worries. Yep.
See, stays in that every day. So, next one here is, hang on a second. That was Steve's question. Rebecca, what's the keyboard shortcuts to activate Copilot in Word? Matt, I don't know if you know that, but could you put that in the comments section? That's
I will do. We'll send
Thank
it.
you.
Yep.
Can you share pricing for the premium version? Absolutely can. I believe right now the pricing changes quite a lot, but it's around £20.48. But what I'll do is I don't know why I said around, and it was very specific with the 48. But what I'll do at the end of the presentation is when I share it to you, I tell you the pricing for it on the commitment. So no problem there. Yeah, we'll send the recording out. We'll probably edit the bit where Matt's machine malfunctioned. And then, so do you buy Copilot license for all users? Absolutely don't do that. You make a perfect point whilst we evaluate the value. In most organizations at the moment, we see a mix of the full version of Copilot and the free version and a blend of agents. You don't have to have everyone the full version of Copilot. You're absolutely right in the mindset. Speak to people, go through the workshops. We all want to just think we can plug this in and start trialing it. But if you don't know how to navigate and the updates are constant within it, you start getting pretty disgruntled with the tool pretty quickly. And that's for any AI. You've got to really know how to use it. It's like any tool in the world. So absolutely go speak to people about the workshop, see how it's used, see what other people are doing. And once you've understood, oh, I think I can see a fit, bring your key people on that first workshop. Let them understand your process, and then let them showcase to you how you can use Copilot in your processes, and then start thinking about the investment, the training, and the wider adoption. And so reception here, my main issue at present is about message service premium. Be careful with this downgrading from premium to basic. Premium has a lot of security function within it. So if you're doing certain things within the premium license or using certain applications, i.e., if you go to basic rather than premium, you only get web applications. So you lose all functionality of installed applications on your machine. So when we spoke about a main issue, this is reception's question here about the grant for business premium being taken away. I want to transfer to basic. Be very careful because basic has only got web application and it loses a lot of functionality. So speak to someone prior just to make sure that's going to be we're able to do. So Sarah and reception, I'll email you specifically on that point so you know what to look for. I'll build you a little checklist on that point. Okay, any other questions? I don't think there is.
I think that's it, James.
Yeah, so look, thank you so much for everyone that stuck out with us for an hour and a half. We apologise for the Matt's overheating issue. You shouldn't live in such warm climates. And but we do live demonstrations for a reason. We don't just do glossy videos. We also want to show you what the tool really looks like. And again, if you're going to take any away from this, don't just go procure licenses. Find someone who has those specializations, speak to them, talk to them, let them show you how Copilot can be used in your environment, and then think about the wider piece. So brilliant. Thanks for everyone's time. I'll get the Q&A out, the questions out. I'll send the video links. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye.
Bye.